What's up, Team KBA? One Tech Charlie here. This is Last Shelter, and you are joining us in the first Token Shop refresh in Season 6. It is the exclusive Senior Commander shop, which means that we are now getting access to Season X heroes. We can finally exchange those tokens to get those copies of Season X heroes. But hold your horses, as much as it is exciting to see Season X heroes in the shop. Should you be spending your tokens in this April P2 refresh? I'm not so sure. So we're gonna dive into that now. So it's been a very busy start to the week. Did my first live stream, which was awesome. Had a nice chat with some of you in the Team KBA community, and also looking to do them a bit more frequently. Again, I only have a very old computer, which means I can't live stream with the game sort of emulated, kind of just like as we are now, but I want to open up more real-time discussions, Q&As. The last one we talked about was Retrograder, which was very exciting because that is this week's Hero Drop 2, which I'm going to do the dedicated video for soon. But with a very busy week last week, having moved apartments and just being super tired to do things more timely than I normally do, we are catching up with that. So this is already 1 week into the refresh, and with April P2 we have a Valkyrie from Season X, Deus Ex Machina from Season 4, Viscount Season 2, my good man Nigel, and Season 1 Dragon's Rage. So an interesting update. It does also mean that the cycle for this token refresh is different for those that don't have the exclusive Senior Commander shop. Normally that was a defined set of heroes that you can expect to drop, whether they were the first group, second group, third group, however many heroes are in the season. But when you start getting access to the exclusive Senior Commander shop, it's actually done it on a monthly basis. So you have 2 refreshes within the month. So 2-week cycle. It starts on the beginning of the month and then on the middle of the month. So it is pretty different. It's not dependent on your season and then going through that rhythm. It really is whenever your season starts, dependent on the month you are in, then they have a schedule of the heroes that are going to drop there. So this won't actually reflect what you might get, because if you eventually end up in Season 6, it's going to depend on what hero is planned to rotate for the month that you start the season. But gives you a good idea. You might end up having a killer token shop refresh when you start your new season. But for us in the 8XX range, we have Valkyrie. They also cost more than your pre-SX heroes. So normally it will cost you 60 fragments per one. 60 hero tokens per fragment for a total of 2,400, sorry. So that's 2,400 hero tokens pre-SX. For Season X heroes, that is 3,000 hero tokens. So they cost more and they're gonna take longer to rotate, since there are 3 pre-SX heroes per refresh and then 1 Season X. It does also mean that organically it is going to take a lot longer for you to get enough tokens for 1 Season X hero, so you do have to be even more strategic and careful how you plan to spend your tokens, unless you are buying hero tokens every day. And normally in a 2-week cycle you can amass 800 hero tokens organically by doing 3 hourly challenges with 3 boxes. Over the 2 weeks, 800. So in a month you can get 1,200, 2.5 months roughly per SX hero. So now that we've got all of the context out of the way, let's actually talk about April P2. So in this drop we basically have 2 shooters and 2 fighters, the fighters being pre-SX, Viscount and Dragon's Rage, and then the shooters being Valkyrie and Deus Ex Machina. This selection, to be honest, is largely forgettable. It's nice that we have Season X finally coming in, but this one you don't need to be spending your tokens here, and here is why. Some of it is kind of a no-brainer. The fact how you have Season 1 and Season 2 heroes outside of the main crop that you want from those seasons. and them costing the same amount as, say, S3 and S4 heroes when their worth is like much lower, or relevancy, especially when we are now 5 seasons in. They are largely forgettable. Out of the 4, the lowest pick I would actually say is Viscount. So 100% no. Doesn't matter if you're going to max him or not, just no. And then Dragon's Rage, I place him higher than Viscount, but still not worth picking up. The reason why he's slightly higher than Viscount is because we don't actually have too many fighter damage dealing heroes. So you have Dragon's Rage from Season 1 and the Knight from Season 2. We don't have any from Season 3, it is solely just Tech Priestess as a fighter. And then Season 4, we had Juggernaut, which is a front row, who was kind of like the alternative to Viscount, not much of an upgrade. So he is one of 2 dedicated fighter heroes pre-SX in the 4 seasons. After that, when Season X opens up, which we are now in, we have, thankfully, much more options. The quality of them also not that great until Scarlet Siren came along. So there is a clear path that there is an upgrade path of who would succeed at Dragon's Rage. Especially now that we are 6 seasons in, there's really no reason for you to pick them up. It doesn't mean he's bad. He has that unique skill 7 quality like the Professional and War Boss, which is an active skill. When you activate it, it will give 100% might and marching speed, which is useful for Doomsday. That marching speed, basically being able to get there much faster, but having a very small window and a high cooldown, and really that's the only time. Outside of it, his skills are okay, just kind of one-dimensional. Dragon's Rage, it's like all damage dealing combat skills, and he does a 1-turn suppression on one of his skills, skill 5. So it's actually not that bad. He's decent, but again, he's just one-dimensional, very predictable. If you have good heroes around him, he could be good, but to be honest, in Season 6, and for the amount of hero tokens and how much it costs for Season X, nah. So that is Dragon's Rage out the mix. And then just going back quickly to Viscount, why not? He is just replaced very quickly as soon as Season X opens up, and even Season 3, Tech Priestess, just put her in the front. Even then, you can really get by without Viscount. He doesn't really offer much more, doesn't really offer something different enough from, let's say, your legendary heroes if you are just from Season 2. He just like does enemy debuffs. Counter attack is okay, not reliable, it's only 35%, and he kind of nerfs our your own troop kind of basic damage, well, the damage that you deal, and then that replaces it with a combat skill damage for the rest of the battle. No healing, and then his skills are just kind of largely forgettable, so he quickly loses relevance. Even from Season 2 onwards, like, you don't really need him, so you shouldn't pick him up in the hero token shop, right? And then we move on to Deus Ex Machina. Now, he is a good hero. Shooter's front row generally is quite light, there's not many options. Pre-SX, it was Deus Ex Machina and Wings of Liberty. You could have makeshift like Inquisitor in the front, but other than that, you don't really have much options until you go down to like Season 1. But there's just such a big difference with the skill gap from Season 1 to the rest. So Deus Ex is a very good shooter hero. He is more on the defensive side, so he provides a plus HP boost to shooters, which is very useful because that is their weakest attribute as a troop versus the rest with high damage. He provides healing in the first few turns of the battle that heals at a decent rate and also triggers well, because it's done on a damage basis, but just for those few turns. And then he basically nerfs enemy damages more, so he would reduce the amount of damage taken for his squad, and then he will also apply a wider enemy damage reduction for the friendly squad as well. He is good. If you don't have any other shooter heroes, he will be perfectly usable and useful and relevant until you pick someone up in Season X. Alternatives in Season X will be Koshei, Shadow, Anyone else? There's not that many there's not that many shooters in Essex at the moment. Those are the ones on top of my head anyway. So he still has a place because there's just not many alternatives, and he does offer very useful. The fact he has healing as well makes him, relevant with shooters, because shooters don't really have much healing. But should you pick up his token from the shop? Honestly, no. I'd probably go through different avenues to try and get this Ex Machina. I would actually say this far in the season, even if you could max him, again, just organically, how difficult it is to pick up hero tokens, and finally with the Senior Commander shop, unless you're really balling with plenty of hero tokens, I'd honestly would just reserve that for Season X heroes, because you know how difficult it is with RNG tickets. These hero drops come thick and fast that you can't even save up enough between on a weekly basis. So hero tokens are definitely a best route of accessing and guaranteeing yourself the hero. So you would really miss out if you didn't have enough tokens for a hero shop because you decided to pull on a pre-SX Deus Ex Machina, even though he is a good front row shooter. So yeah, I would largely say avoid, not because he's a bad hero, just more strategically, you should be saving it for Season X now. That leads us on to Valkyrie. So Valkyrie is the alternate front row shooter to Deus Ex Machina. She is the complete opposite of the spectrum in terms of what she provides. She is just like guns blazing offensive, no healing, no defensive stats. It's just raw power and synergy effects for everyone else in your APC to deliver that high damage. So in total, she'll kind of provide an overall plus 100% damage effect by reducing, increasing friendly damage by 50% and then enemy taking more damage by 50%. So you can't have the twofold, one from the friendly and the enemy, altogether leads to 100%. She also has a 2-turn skill which prioritizes, no matter the combat speed of your APC and the enemy APC, she will prioritize 2 of your friendly squads to go first. So again, she's really front loaded to the beginning. You want to capitalize on that. You want really high damage output heroes that can take advantage of going first and all of that damage output. So pairing her with a Nomad, you hear formations of Inquisitor Patriots, because Patriot is also similar to her really in the beginning and being the output, but placing any damage dealer like Nomad, Hummingbird, Lust, and then support hero like Predator. You could put Inquisitor still because of his extra damage buff if you're going for an all-shooter formation. Valkyrie can work there. Again, I find she's situational. So yeah, even if you have Valkyrie, you can use her in moments where you just want that damage burst. And she's decent in force tiling, not like your PIA like Panther Ivanov Anna or Panther Sven Ivanov. But if you wanted to use shooters and have an extra force in tile, she can play well there. Again, her strength is just full offensive. You can either go pure raw damage or you provide some support effects with the mid row to balance it out. But after the first few turns for Valkyrie, she's kind of done, because she really just applies that priority in the first 2 turns. And I think also, yeah, the first 2 turns, she does as part of her prep skill, the Blitz, like on the 2nd turn, kind of like Wings of Liberty, there is a guaranteed, because it's a prep skill, so it activates before battle. There is a guaranteed high damage dealt on the 2nd turn, which is just under 1,000, actually just under 1,400% over 2 enemies. So very high, but there's no kind of counter that she applies. It really is just the first 2 and 3 turns. After that, she is forgettable. So she's disposable as a front row. Again, you could sort of prop it up with a hero in the mid, but overall, there are more staying power Season X heroes also for shooters, and especially since they all cost the same 3,000 hero tokens. And again, strategically, whether it's worth it, no. So yeah, overall that's kind of it. It's a nice entry into exclusive Senior Commander shop, but it's a very forgettable one, an update 2. I currently have 4,660 hero tokens because I haven't needed to spend hero tokens for a while, which means I'm saving it for Season X heroes. I don't have Valkyrie anyway, so this doesn't appeal to me. The good thing is May P1 is going to start in the beginning of the month, so we only have to wait 5 days, which is still roughly like 2 weeks from the cycle, but it starts on the 1st of the month. So that's going to be super exciting. Going to get that token shop update to you much quicker, and we can see what's going to be in there. I'm also glad if it gives me more time to accrue my hero tokens, so that if there are like back-to-back good heroes in the space of the like May P1 and May P2, then I can go for them. But luckily it does help that there's only one Season X hero per cycle, because yeah, that's gonna be nuts, like missing out on the hero that you want. But that is April P2. Valkyrie, Deus Ex Machina, Viscount, Dragon's Rage. Don't pull your tokens in this. You're really gonna, yeah, I would say you would be really beating yourself up if you did pull tokens in this, no matter if you can max them or not. So again, it's my opinion, completely up to you, but yeah, hopefully you found my info useful. So that is the token shop. Thanks a lot for joining me, Team KBA. If you found it useful, give it a big thumbs up. I always appreciate it. And you can always find this and my Season 6 hero recruitment timeline that I'm updating in the season on at onetechtraveler.com. I'll put the link down below. And then the next one up is going to be Hero Drop 2. I'll see you in the next one. That wraps up the video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't yet, join the Team KBA community by subscribing to my YouTube channel, and check out onetechtraveler.com for more stories, articles, and videos around tech, travel, and gaming. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, keep being awesome. Peace.